Welcome everybody to another edition of Three Dad Bods with two of the sexiest dad bods, Brent here and Nickelback, Karl. How you doing, bud?
Nickelback. Why you call me Nickelback?
You're the coin man. You're the coin man.
I am the
Nickelback
coin man now. Silver. Call me Silver. Call me Silver. I like that.
Nah, you're Nickelback. That's
Silver
who started
Eagle,
earning the
baby.
big bucks. You're gonna be Nickelback till you.
Or Goldback.
Then you're gonna be a quarterback.
I did. I got before we get going on our subject tonight. Those.
What is that?
Those are called. Okay. So in the state of Utah, Nevada, South Dakota, Wyoming, pretty soon some other states. We talked about last week or a couple weeks ago, that states can coin their own money. So this is what it looks like. This is a goldback from the state of Utah. So basically, it's exactly one.
Is that Emma Smith that's on the front there?
Nope. She's a pioneer. 1/200th of a troy ounce of gold is actually woven in these. So it's kind of cool. So what's the value of it?
Well,
right now I've got about $40. I've got 10, or let's see, 50
those right there.
I've got 10 of them. Yeah, there's 10 gold bucks here. So
if you go to like a 7-Eleven to get yourself your Dr. Pepper and you slap one of them down, are you going to accept it?
Yeah, they will actually. This $1 is worth $5. So
really,
whatever I can get for $5. Yeah. So in case, let's say US dollar, well, and I'm not going to buy too many of these, maybe a couple hundred of these.
Let's don't say in case, let's just say when the US dollar collapses.
Yeah. Well, if there's some emergencies in the future, I'll be prepared. I'll have my bug out goldbacks ready to go, ready to negotiate. I'll probably get some. New Hampshire is also doing this program. So I'm surprised Tennessee might eventually, from what this company was saying.
How do you get a goldback?
Just, you can order them online. They've got an ATM down at the convenience store where I got these. Yeah.
Really?
Crazy. Yeah. And then you can mostly order them online through like any gold dealers, silver dealers, eBay. You can get them on eBay right now. So,
wow.
Yeah. So I'm going to get some of those, probably some coins eventually. Who knows? I'm not going to spend all my savings on that, of course. That would be foolish, but
hey, it looks better though, having a big wad of some gold backs right there, you know?
They're shiny, man. They're shiny. They look good.
It looks like you just got the golden ticket for Willy Wonka.
Exactly. I got the golden ticket. So that's what you need, is a golden ticket to get in March Madness, don't you?
That's pretty cool, man.
And my kitten's got the golden ticket. So what's going on this week? It's one of my favorite weeks of the year.
It is. We begin one of the funnest times. And, as we start off with our March Madness program here, I really hope they don't expand it. They're talking about expanding it to like 112 teams.
Well, I don't know.
I don't even like them expanding. I don't like this playing game. Like, how do you pick your bracket when you got 3 teams that you're picking on there? But some of these are like a 13 seed. You have 2 13 seeds playing each other, and then the winner of that plays, whoever. I don't like that. Like, keep it at 64. Keep it at 64 teams. We're going to stop this juice box mentality where everybody gets a chance. No. 64 teams is a lot of damn teams.
I agree. I think the most that I'd be okay with is they're talking one extra bye for some other bye teams in the top 4 seeds. So, but who knows? What's more scary is that March Madness might go away completely if this whole SEC Big Ten thing, where they take their marbles and go play in a different league, happens.
I disagree with that.
How?
I think that when that happens, it's not an if that happens, it's when that happens, because that's going to happen. But I think that's only going to be football, because you have so many other sports that are out there. Also, you've got, gymnastics, you've got baseball, you've got basketball, you've got soccer, you got hockey, you got all kinds of stuff
See, but if I was the NCAA, I wouldn't let those leagues do that.
What does the NCAA do? What do they do?
If you start your own
they
league,
do nothing.
You do everything.
The NCAA does nothing. Look, if the NCAA is serious, then you need to have a commissioner. Who's the commissioner of the NCAA sports?
I don't disagree with this. The NCAA is a weak organization.
It's very weak.
Yeah. I mean, if they're going to enforce the rules, they need to enforce the rules
you need to have a commissioner
across the board. You should have a commissioner and a committee.
Right.
And I think they have the committee. They have a chairman, but they don't have a commissioner. Someone like baseball. Now, baseball does it right. That dude's like God. He's in charge. I think the NFL is the same way.
NFL, but now that you got NIL in, and now we're starting to see like there's an Ivy League school that's going to unionize their athletes. You've got to have somebody in charge. You've got too much chaos going on, and Nick Saban has been very vocal about this when he retired. The reason why he left college football is because of NIL and because of just this chaos. It became not fun for him. It wasn't a game about the sport. Now it's the first question every kid is asked is how much? How much do I get? How much do I get? How much do I get? They don't even ask about playing time. How much do I get? How much do I get? That's not what the NCAA athletics was set up for. It's set up to help student athletes get an education. A lot of money that has since become on the NCAA ever since then. So we're beginning Thursday, actually Wednesday, or is it tomorrow? Does it begin tomorrow with the playing games? Tuesday and Wednesday? It does, doesn't it?
Tuesday night, yeah, and then
and Wednesday, Tuesday and Wednesday,
tomorrow
and Wednesday. So those begin. The number one overall seed this year is UConn,
Connecticut,
who basically has everybody back. National champion last year. They played what a phenomenal tournament last year. Number 9 seed San Diego State and UConn as a recap, and UConn pulled away in the end and won big. But let me ask you this now. When was the last repeat champion?
It was Florida.
You are correct. 2003.
Okay.
Yeah, 2003, 2004. So we've gone 20 years without a repeat.
Who's
Not
coach?
only that, Billy Donovan.
Or Donovan?
No.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Donovan was coach.
Billy Donovan.
Okay.
Coach of the Chicago Bulls now, and rumored they're pushing hard for Michigan, and Louisville also. However, what I was going to say is the last, don't quote me on this, but I believe it's the last 9 NCAA champions have been booted out by the second round.
Okay, I'll believe it. Yeah.
That's a pretty big statistic when you're looking at putting your teams together and how it ends up, and
well, in a little bit when we start talking about our brackets, one thing I've noticed is the committee. I mean, they're humans, and they sit down and they try to analyze the data and figure out, okay, which are we going to use polls? Are we going to eyeball it? Are we going to use a service like NetPalm? I think sometimes the committee gets it right, and sometimes they rely too much on statistics or eyeballing things too much. So it really comes down to who really is good. And I think that the part about the NCAA March Madness tournament that I like is it's still 64 teams. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, you hear these fans complain and teams complain sometimes, mostly fans. We got screwed. We got seeded 7th. We should have been 4th. Here's the point. You've got to line up and you've got to beat every team in front of you. And it doesn't matter.
You have to play somebody sometime.
You got to play them. You got to play them in the Final Four. You got to play them now. Might as well play them now. And so I laugh and I think, man, quit whining. You made the dance. And that's what I love about Selection Sunday yesterday. You just sit there and you see those kids so excited that they're going to the dance. I mean,
yeah.
When we were kids.
It's a big opportunity. This year, you've got Duquesne in there this year. They have not been in the tournament since 1977.
I love it too because my kids get to play.
1977. That is incredible. So
Do you know
to go
what
with
Duquesne
exactly
is,
what
by
you're
the
talking
way?
about. Duquesne, I do. Duquesne is it in Des Moines, Iowa?
No.
No?
Go east, brother.
It,
East.
is it east?
Yeah. It's in the great state
Pittsburgh.
right by Pittsburgh. It's a Catholic
Okay.
school. And
Okay.
it's Mormons and the Catholics going at
It-
this Thursday.
So you talk about, that feeling and stuff. I mean, imagine at Duquesne now. These kids who come to this school, they're the first ones in nearly 50 years to bring their team in. The opportunity, and when they beat the kids, I mean, can you imagine the excitement that they're going to feel getting their first win?
Well, they're going to have fun with their brackets until Thursday, and the game will be played, and they'll realize, they do play basketball in the Big 12. Anyway.
So you ready for some meat and potatoes?
Sure.
All right. So overall stats, we're going to talk about, I'm not going to go over every seed, but I'm going to have a few overall stats for you and what their best finishes are. Okay. So I'm going to start at the very, very bottom, the 16th seed. The 16th seed has only won twice. They have never, ever advanced past that next round. So one win and done, and those wins, and it had been, I think that the first 16
seed. Yeah, didn't one seed lose just recently, like a few years?
Yeah, last year, like only twice it's happened, and both of them have been within the last 10 years.
Was it Purdue?
I honestly don't remember. I could look it up later, but I don't know right off the bat.
Yeah.
To go up one slot, the 15th seed overall is 16 wins, 152 losses. So the furthest that a 15 seed has made it is to the Sweet 16. They made it there once.
You know which team it was?
Now, I don't.
Okay.
Nope.
I know Arizona's been on the wrong end.
They really have. Like Arizona's one of those teams I've always gun shy to
Arizona Wildcats.
Oh, there. Okay. All right. So number one seeds. All right. They are 500 and 128 overall. 25 number one seeds have been an NCAA champion.
Really?
Like way above and beyond. So if you are a number one seed, one of the 4 number one seeds, there's a very good chance that you are going to be an NCAA champion.
Well, that makes sense.
Based off the stats.
Yeah.
By the same respect, okay, the number 2 seed is 354 and 147. There has only been 5 number 2 seed NCAA champions. Only 5.
Only 5?
So we go from 25 and the next seed, 5.
5. Interesting. Okay. How about 3?
3 seed, that overall 281 and 148. There have been 4 NCAA champions that were 3 seeds.
Okay.
Number 4 seed is 235 and 150, and there have been 2 NCAA champions.
Oh, geez, that's funny. It keeps going down and down.
There has never been a number 5 seed as an NCAA champion. However, there has been one champion that's been a 6 seed, one that's been a 7 seed, and one that's been an 8 seed. So seed versus seed, all right? We'll start from the top. 1 versus 16, we talked about this. The 1 seed is 150 wins and 2 losses. When you've got a 2 versus 15, the 2 seed has won 141 to 11. 314, okay? This is where we keep talking about like, all these upsets always happen. 130 wins to 22. It's an 85% winning chance that if you're a 3 seed, you're going to win. 4 versus 13, the mighty, crippling Force 13. Oh my goodness, you better hit every 13 seed. You better pick every one of them because the 4 seed never wins. Well, the 4 seed has they have an 80% win percentage. It's 120 to 32. Furthest that a 13 seed has ever made it is to the Sweet 16. And 6 times a 13 seed has made it to the Sweet 16. They've never made it to the Final 8.
Okay.
All right, 5 versus 12. This is where we get a little more closer. 99 to 53.
This is where a lot of the national guys will pick a 12 over a
and a 12 seed, there's been 2 times that a 12 seed has made it to the Elite 8, but never beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
6 versus 11, 94 and 58.
Still pretty good to be a 6.
Still pretty good to be a 6. An 11 seed has made it to the Final Four 5 times. We had a James Madison. Yeah. We had a Florida Coastal. What was that? It was one of those Florida. Yeah. It was like a Florida Coastal.
It was last year.
Which was no? I think that was 2 or 3 years ago.
Florida Atlantic, or below.
Florida Atlantic. Maybe I can't remember what that was. All right, 7-10.
There was a VCU, Virginia Commonwealth, who made it, or George Washington University, I think, was one of them too.
All right, so the 7-10 matchup, still fairly big, 92 and 59.
That's still pretty weighted for a 7, isn't it?
And interesting, where an 11 seed has made the Final Four 5 times, a 10 seed's made the Final Four once. Kind of a bad seed to not be is a 10.
And I think Kansas was a higher seed one time and made the Final Four. But anyway.
I don't think they've ever been a 10. Kansas, their name gives them a lot of recognition.
I think it was a 7.
So that 8-9, you ready for this?
Is it 50-50?
Surprisingly, no.
Oh.
The 8-9 is 74 and 78. The 9 seed has a higher winning percentage than the 8 seed.
Well, it's a coin flip a lot of times. I mean,
it is 74 and 78. So like your 8 and 9 seeds, there's been one champion that's been the 8 seed. We talked about that, North Carolina State. And the 9 seed has made it to the Final Four 2 times.
Well, in the NCAA committee, when they go through, and CBS did this yesterday on the show, they'll rank them 1 through 68. And a lot of times, if you think about it, 8 and 9, 32 through 37, and so that makes a lot of sense that they'd be that close. Yeah. So interesting. Yeah. Okay. Well, there's some good stats. So what are you trying to do? You're going to be Mr. Mathematician now when it comes to your NCAA bracket, Brent? Is that how you're going to win it? I've seen women pick whichever mascot they like the most or colors they like the most and do better than some of us.
And I think we know I agree with that. I believe that the less you know, the better you're going to do. I am a very firm believer of that because I have watched this tournament my whole entire life and I have yet to get it right. This year included.
Well, here's the fun thing. This pod, for this episode and this week, Three Dad Bods, we have our own group on the ESPN Bracket Challenge. So not only can you sign up for the Bracket Challenge, what you can also do is be part of the Three Dad Bods podcast challenge as well. And so
get in there, guys. Get in
there. It's open for everybody. I'm going to post a link for the episode Wednesday night or Wednesday. I'm trying to get it out Wednesday afternoon so you guys can get your picks in before Thursday. You got to get your picks in before Thursday. But join our group because this could be fun. Well, let's get started, Brent. Let's go into our picks.
Did I just appear there?
Who do you want to go first? So, Brent, well, let's go through our picks. So we'll start with the East region, and then we'll go to the West like they normally do on the NCAA show.
So I got UConn winning that first one. For the record, I've got them winning it all, even though I said that there hasn't been a repeat champion. It's just how it panned out. I don't see anybody in this bracket that beats UConn. Very good basketball team.
Yeah, I'll probably will agree with you on that one, but go ahead.
I've got FAU beating Northwestern.
Now, interesting point. FAU last year made a lot of noise.
I did. And that's why I went with them. A lot of guys back from that team, an experienced coach.
But Northwestern's a good Big Ten team. So it's going to be a kind of a tough fight. Northwestern, it's been a long time since they've been in the NCAA tournament as well. So there's some pride there for those, for Northwestern.
I've got San Diego State over UAB. And again, that goes back to what they did last year. I'll
agree with
that. San Diego State was there. they were in the championship game. They got a couple players back from it, although most of those guys are not there. But yeah, they are there.
Then we got Auburn, Yale, the next game.
Auburn. And Auburn, look, Auburn is one of these sneaky teams. I'm telling you, they won the SEC championship.
That's true.
Bruce Pearl is phenomenal. They are like so many teams out there that live and die by the 3-pointer.
We'll see. It'd be interesting. Yeah, BYU is one of them too that live and die by the 3-pointer.
Yeah. I've actually got, So there's the first 4.
Mm-hmm.
Anything different from you?
I've got Northwestern beating FAU, and then I have the same teams. 3 of the 4 are the same as yours. So I have UConn, Northwestern, San Diego State, Auburn. So, the only thing I can say about Northwestern is I don't know. It's a sentimental pick because they're in Chicago. So,
yep.
All right, BYU and the little guys from Pittsburgh.
I got Duquesne, buddy.
You're losing that one. BYU's going to win that one. Okay.
Are you saying that just because of your heart or because you know something?
BYU is actually really good when it comes to first-round games this year and neutral games. So I think BYU is going to win this one.
How do they do in the first round of the NCAA tournament this year?
They haven't played a big game yet.
Then how would they be doing well in the first round of the game?
In the Big 12 tournament, they won their first game pretty easily, and a lot better team than they're going to be playing in the first round of the NCAA. So
playing against a team that hasn't been in the tournament since 1977 is going to be amped up.
So what? I don't care. BYU's going to win.
This is actually these bottom 4 here in this bracket. I have a lot of upsets. I ain't going to lie. I've got Morehead State beating Illinois.
I don't.
I did.
Did you watch the Illinois?
Who doesn't want Morehead? I did watch it, and they didn't look very impressive against
Illinois
Wisconsin.
Doesn't have much of a defense, but they do have a guard that
and Morehead State has a defense. Morehead State has what is their record? They are 26-8, same exact record.
Yeah, but you're talking a defense in a league that's not even comparable to the Big Ten, man. I mean, as far as quality of players and competition.
Doesn't matter.
It does matter.
It does not matter.
It matters. It does matter.
If that mattered, then you would never, ever have these upsets. If what you said matters, you'd never have an upset.
So you have Morehead State playing Duquesne in the second round. Is that what we have? Is that your pick?
I do.
Okay. Well, you're going to
look last year what the second round games were.
Personally, if Morehead State wins, I'm happy because then BYU gets Morehead State. So, because the third round, I'm not so excited.
Not when they lose.
Washington State.
I got Drake beating Washington State.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I have Washington State, actually. And then Iowa State, South Dakota State.
I actually got Iowa State. Iowa State's a very good basketball team.
Oh, Iowa State's got Toronto, Dakota. Okay, so I've got BYU against Illinois. And I don't know enough about Morehead State, to be honest. I don't know if Morehead State is as good as you say it is, but I was watching Illinois. Maybe I'm just a prejudice because I watched the Big Ten championship yesterday.
You were too sentimental.
Good. Washington State had a good season this year. I think they
did.
I think they're going to beat Drake. Give the Pac-10 a little love here, and then Iowa State easily over South Dakota State. All right. Okay. Now we're talking.
Now, but I've got a little different there because I've got Drake against Iowa State, and I actually have Drake beating Iowa State.
Dude,
and playing Morehead State.
Terrible.
Hey, okay, you say that, but look at how it was last year and the year before.
We're gonna
look at the brackets last year and before, and tell me if I made those same picks, you'd be saying, "Oh, it's terrible," but yet they won.
We'll see.
They won.
We'll see. Okay, UConn, and I think you had FAU. UConn, obviously, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I've got a great showdown between UConn and Auburn. That is a hammered out, fantastic basketball.
The only one different, I do have San Diego State slipping by Auburn into the Sweet 16.
Which could happen. That's going to be a very good basketball. Auburn, again, is one of them teams, like when they're on, I don't know if there's anybody that can beat them, but get in their head and pressure. And that's what happens during this time of year. That pressure starts clamping. And suddenly you have a whole bunch of 11s and 14s sitting around in all your brackets. And then I'm like, I told you so.
Well, we'll see. And then I've got BYU, Illinois. I got BYU beating Illinois.
Oh, you got to quit playing with your heart, man.
Yeah, I know, but it's okay.
You just told me how fantastic the Big Ten is. And you got the kids
Big 12,
winning.
baby. Then I have Iowa State beating Washington State pretty handily. And then we're in the final 8. Okay, so UConn, San Diego State, UConn, right?
I mean, I got UConn and Auburn, but I got UConn there.
So I think the only difference is I have UConn in the Final Four too. I have Iowa State beating BYU, and then Iowa State losing to UConn in a tight game. So Iowa State's got a killer defense.
Pretty risky, but you got to look. Very seldom do 1 and 2s play each other. You'll have a few here and there, but not a lot.
Well, I think in this bracket, because Iowa State is that good, I think they're going to, and that actually the half the bracket they're in isn't that tough actually. So, I mean, BYU's the only one that's beaten them.
You say that, but how many games have you watched Drake play?
Dude, I've watched
0. Just say 0.
A ton of Big 12 basketball this year.
Just say 0. Is Drake?
How many Drake games have you watched?
I haven't watched any, but I'm looking at their overall record and their defense and their stats. How are you
such a big Drake fan when you have no idea how they're going to play? When I've watched Iowa State, I've watched UConn, I've watched Illinois, I've watched BYU, I've watched Houston.
I'm just telling you.
Those are good teams.
I'm just telling you. Mr. Big 12 Homer here all of a sudden.
All right.
Drake at 28-6.
All right,
reason why they're 28-6.
Let's go to South. Let's go to the South region. Should be an interesting one too. So in the South, Houston's a 1 seed.
Wait, I'm
going to go first this time.
I got to go down the South here.
Okay. Well, while you're doing that, I'll go through mine.
I'm here.
Okay. Houston, going to easily get past the 16 Longwood team.
Yeah,
where's Longwood from?
Yeah, that's fine.
Then this is an interesting game. Nebraska, Texas A&M. It'd probably be a good one to watch in the first round. I have Nebraska beating it.
For real.
You think so?
Yeah.
I didn't know much about it now. So
very good basketball.
Now here's the next game is my first upset. James Madison beating, they're 31-3, beating Wisconsin.
I do too. Okay. James Madison's been to the Final Four before. James Madison has 3 losses.
Okay.
I don't care who you are.
No one wants them. Yeah, no one wants them. And then Duke will, for the first time in a while, actually get to a second round game. So I think they're going to beat Vermont, even though I think Vermont's going to test them. Vermont's got a scrappy defense. I think
28-6.
This could be a closer game than Duke wants. And then, anyway, we won't go there yet. And then Texas Tech, I think, is going to beat NC State, even though NC State, I know, won the ACC tournament. It takes a lot out of you going as far as they did.
I got NC State winning that. They're hot.
Hey, my kittens beat NC State in neutral court earlier in the year. So
that must mean they must win then.
Texas Tech
gives a shit about your kids. You know, you're literally the only person that cares about the kids who listens to this podcast.
Yeah, whatever. And then we've got Kentucky beating Oakland. And then I have actually Boise or Colorado State beating Florida.
I do too.
Upset. Do you really?
But this is what I was talking about earlier, though. Okay,
yeah.
Like a Boise State Florida game, I would probably pick Florida. But a Colorado Florida State game, I would pick Colorado. Yeah. Like it's not. How do you do that? You know,
well, Boise's not a terrible team. They're a pretty disciplined team.
They're not, but between if I had Boise State and Florida in a bracket, I'm going to pick Florida in that one. If I've got Colorado and Florida in a bracket, I'm going to pick Colorado. It's crap how they do that.
Okay, we got Marquette going to the second round, easy.
Marquette's very best player is not playing. Keep this in mind. It's player of the year. And the kid is a freaking stud.
You think Western Kentucky? Well, you know what?
I don't think the West, although I have watched in person Western Kentucky play.
They're pretty good.
Went up there and saw a game. They're a good team. They're not going to beat Marquette though, but they're a good team.
Guards.
They're going to give them a good run. They're a good team. However, Marquette's going to win that game, and then you know what? I even have them going further, but now that that player isn't their best player is not playing.
I have them playing Kentucky in the Sweet 16, or no, I have them playing. See, so Marquette beats Boise or Colorado, and then they play Kentucky in the Sweet 16. And then I have James Madison playing Houston in the Sweet 16. I have James Madison upsetting Duke.
I don't have Kentucky making it out of round of 32. Yeah.
I have Kentucky playing
Kentucky
Houston.
for you. That's Kentucky for you. That's just...
Kentucky's not that solid this year, huh?
No, they're not.
How did they do in the SEC tournament? I didn't follow that.
Exit first round.
Oh. Well, sometimes those teams tank on purpose, though.
So did Tennessee, though, too. But Kentucky is...
Yeah. Well, I have Houston going to the Final Four in that bracket. So
I have A&M beating Houston. I think that's where they fall.
Dude. Your SEC bias is coming out.
No, it's the fact that I don't trust Houston. I just don't. They look great, but you look at all these teams that look great, and they look like Kansas's, the Arizonas, the Houston's right in there.
I'll give you one thing with Houston right now. They're a little beat up. Now the question is, will they be healthy to start it out? And plus, Longwood, I mean, they can beat those guys with their reserves.
I've also got James Madison beating Duke.
I do too, which is kind of funny. That's surprising. So we're pretty close, except for the Kentucky pick and the Houston pick.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yep. Let's go to the Midwest. The big Purdue Boilermakers, the biggest letdown team in NCAA last year.
And watch, they'll probably win it all.
Well, they've got a lot of people are thinking that, but so okay, you go first on this one.
I got them. They're going to win that first round. Okay, Utah State. I've got them winning that second round.
You know what? I know in my heart that my heart goes with the Aggies, but I am picking the Aggies, so it's a stupid pick. But TCU is a good team, good damn team. So I wouldn't be shocked if TCU beats Utah State, but Utah State go Aggies and they get in the second round and they get murdered by Purdue. But anyway,
I have McNeese State winning.
So do I. I don't think Gonzaga's as good as everybody's making.
McNeese State is another one of them teams with 3 losses. Last year, they were, what were they? They had only won like 10 games. And their coach said at the end of last year, we will win 24 games next year. They ended up winning like 33 or 31 or whatever it is. And they play. I have not watched a lot of McNeese State basketball games or McNeese basketball games, but on paper they look very, very solid. Very, very good.
Well, here's this next game, Kansas and Samford. And
I got Kansas, but I honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if Samford won.
Well, here's the thing. Kansas went to a tailspin at the end of the year. They lost to BYU at home. They got crushed by Iowa State. I mean, they did beat Houston. They did beat UConn. And I think the committee gave them a 4 seed when they didn't really deserve a 4 seed this year.
What did Iowa State do to Houston?
Well, and in Kansas gets Samford in the first round. And then I think the committee thinks Gonzaga is going to beat McNeese, but I think you're right. I think McNeese is going to beat Gonzaga because Gonzaga is not that good. St. Mary's.
I think they're going to beat Kansas.
Well, I've got Kansas. Yeah, I have Kansas playing
McNeese beating Kansas.
I don't. I do have Kansas slipping by and getting to Purdue. I mean,
that second round is your biggest day of upset.
I know, and it's probably a stupid pick on my part.
If you've got no double-digit seeds coming out, you really got something wrong with your bracket.
Well, you'll see in the next half of the brackets a little better. South Carolina, Oregon. I actually do have the Ducks making it the second.
I do too, because the Ducks, for the first time all year, are healthy and they have one of the very best players in the country. They're very, very good basketball team. Incredibly
I see,
good.
and Creighton's going to be kind of Creighton. I don't.
Creighton is one of these teams that is a 3 seed, and I honestly can't tell you that much about them, but they've beaten everybody.
They play in the Big East too. That's not
Yeah.
easy. Now here's the funny one: Texas, which I'm not that impressed with, plays.
This is another one.
And these two teams are weak. UVA shouldn't even be in the. I don't think they should be.
But I'm going with UVA, and I would pick UVA over Texas.
I won't. Texas is going to be playing Tennessee in the second round, and I have Tennessee beating Texas like a drum. So,
yeah, and then whoever that next round is, I got Tennessee going past it. So,
I also have Tennessee playing Oregon because
Tennessee going to the finals.
Listen.
I can honestly tell you, it's not from my heart. It's just the way it panned out. Can Tennessee beat St. Peter's? Yes. Can they beat a Texas or a Virginia or a Colorado State? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Can they beat an Oregon? Yes.
Yes.
I mean, it matches up right along the way. Yes. It matches right up straight down the line, you know? So I know it sounds like a homer, and I'm probably 100% wrong. It's just how things matched out, you know?
You live in Goodlettsville. I gotta give you a break there.
Hey.
Houston,
orange, but
I have Tennessee playing Houston in the Final Four myself. So I think the problem is Tennessee's, I think, more athletic and a faster in terms of their guards. And
they have the best player in the country. Tennessee has the best player in the country. However, teams have shown when you play extra people on him and pace him up and shut him down and depend on everybody else. Tennessee has another player, Ziegler, but they've shown be difficult.
Well, now one of the upset specials I have is Oregon is the 11th seed all the way to this Final 8 or the and then I have let's see, one other. That was it. The McNeese going into the second round, but losing to Kansas. Now you have McNeese as a Sweet 16 team, right? As far as getting that far into the tournament in that bracket. So, all right, West bracket. Okay, I've got North Carolina in the second round. I've got Mississippi State beating Michigan State, the most overrated damn Big Ten team in history. Tom Izzo must have something on the committee because there's no dang way Michigan State should have been in the tournament with their record and their performance. I just do not know how they got in when a lot of good teams did not. So anyway, Mississippi State will beat them. I have Grand Canyon beating St. Mary's. Grand Canyon's a good team. Then I have Alabama beating Charleston. Then I have Clemson beating New Mexico and Baylor making it to the second round. Nevada beating Dayton, and then Arizona makes the second. So, how about you on that first day in the West? Hello?
Sorry, there we go. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Let me get this back up here. So I'm with you until you get down to your Big 12 homer pick. You really are a Big 12 homer. This is a shame. 1 year in the Big 12, and then you're just like all mushy gushy about it.
You don't.
I do have Grand Canyon.
It's going to be Colgate.
I don't.
Come on.
I don't at all.
That's good.
Colgate's going to win by 25. They will win by 25.
That's a real terrible pick, but that's okay. You wanted a 14.
You know what, though? You say that, and then next week when we're here and this weekend's gone by, you're like, bracket's busted. How many times does that happen when everybody's bracket is busted? How often does that happen?
All right, who do you have for that in the Dayton, Nevada?
Well, let me get down here again. All right, so I'm with you. I got Grand Canyon beating St. Mary's. I got Bama beating Charleston. I got New Mexico beating Clemson. Colgate beating Baylor. I've got Nevada beating Dayton. Even though Dayton may have the second best player in the whole country. I've got Arizona beating Long Beach State.
So I have North Carolina beating whoever, Michigan State
Yeah.
or Mississippi State.
Yeah.
I've got Grand Canyon upsetting Alabama. Big upset special there. And then I have Baylor beating Clemson. And then Nevada, Arizona's going to do their choke. And Nevada is going to slip by to play Baylor in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I've actually got
that Grand Canyon's a weird pick.
It is, and I got Alabama winning that. And this is my opinion. Sorry about that. This is my opinion as to why we see so many upsets in college basketball, especially in the early rounds.
Yeah.
So many of these teams. I'm thinking about out of the SEC, A&M, Alabama, Tennessee, South Carolina. These teams live by the three-pointer. The kids are another team.
Yeah, I know.
They get into these arenas. They get into these arenas that they've never been into before. Different types of atmospheres. It's just a different thing. So if you can shut down shooters, that's why we see all these upsets. That's why you see these Princetons who are patient and run their offense, and they don't just rush down one pass, shoot, rush down one pass, shoot. These teams that have systems where they run their offense.
Yeah.
One of those teams is James Madison, is McNeese, and who is this other one here that was in here? Oh my goodness, where's this bracket at? Anyway, I think that's why we see so often now just so many brackets being busted by the first weekend is because, hey, this team comes in, they get cold, they can't hit the side of the barn, and they just end up getting annihilated by
Alabama's one of those teams that hits 11 3-pointers a game.
Yeah.
And so
look how many they take.
But I mean, you talking about a grind team. Baylor is not, and they average 8 3-pointers a game. Colgate averages 7. They get to the line more than Colgate. Rebounding is even. They're in the Big 12, man. I'm sorry, Colgate is in some Ivy League conference up in the East somewhere. I mean, it's just not the same.
Again, then why don't you have? Then there would be no other conferences in there. The Gonzagas would never ever make it into a championship game based off of your theory right there.
Yeah, but Gonzaga, it took years for Gonzaga to build its reputation. Colgate, come on.
Hey, James Madison made it to the final. San Diego State.
We haven't finished this bracket though.
San Diego State out of the Mountain West Conference was in the national championship game last year.
So
they're not in those big powerhouses. They didn't just do that over years and years and years. Like your philosophy is completely flawed.
All right, he's got another 11 and 14 in this bracket. Now you have two. I do
have two. Look at last year. It's the same exact thing. Same exact thing happened last year.
All right, New Mexico, Colgate. Who do you have going to play? Was it Nevada or Arizona?
What's this? What bracket? South?
We're in the West still.
In the West? All right.
Okay.
Here. All right. So I got Carolina winning Mississippi State. I've got Bama beating Grand Canyon.
See, I got Grand Canyon beating.
And I've got New Mexico and I've got Nevada winning. Only because it's Arizona that they're playing. They're playing any other 2 seed. I would have that 2 seed win, but it is Arizona.
Now I could see New Mexico beating Baylor. I just don't see Colgate. And I have Baylor and Nevada playing to Sweet 16 game, and then I have North Carolina beating Canyon. And I have North Carolina beating Baylor to get into the finals. So I have UConn playing North Carolina.
I've got
Houston
Alabama beating
Tennessee.
Carolina.
3 1 seeds in the final and 1 2 seed.
I've got I've got
I think they got
Alabama
the
beating
1
New
seed.
Mexico, and I've got I've got Alabama in the Final Four against
I don't know.
UConn.
Okay. And you know what, though? I'll give you that.
And
Because
very well.
I'm
They get
not,
hot. They get
yeah,
hot and on track.
I'm not
You
convinced
know,
North Carolina is that good either. I don't think Baylor can get into the Final Four, and I don't think Grand Canyon will. So I think Bama's a good. If Bama beats Grand Canyon, Bama, I think, could knock off North Carolina and whoever the winner is out of Baylor, New Mexico, or Nevada pretty easily. I don't think Clemson's going to get to that point. A bunch of
I don't even have
winners
them
there.
getting out the first round.
Final Four: UConn, North Carolina,
Wait,
or
so
Alabama.
did we go through the Elite Eight? So
Yeah.
Elite Eight, I've got UConn and Drake. Sounds like a rap contest. And I got UConn winning that. I've got Bama and New Mexico with Alabama winning that. I've got James Madison and NC State with NC State winning that. Boy, that's a long shot.
Yeah.
And I got McNeese and Tennessee with Tennessee winning that. So my final four is UConn, Alabama, North Carolina State, and Tennessee.
I've got UConn, Iowa State, with UConn winning. Houston plays Kentucky, beats them. I have North Carolina and Baylor, North Carolina winning. Purdue, Tennessee, with Tennessee winning. So UConn against North Carolina, first game. Houston, Tennessee. I have UConn beating North Carolina, and I have Houston somehow beating Tennessee. Now, I had a hard time on that one because I really like Tennessee. I mean, I could easily see Tennessee beating Houston, and then UConn winning it all. Again, they're just the best all-around team in the nation, I think.
Yeah, I've got them winning it all too.
I think 1/4 of the. You know what's funny though? It's like you said though. It's true.
Okay.
UConn could come.
This is the round of 32 last year.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 1, Bama plays number 8, Maryland. There was an upset. Number 5, San Diego State plays number 13, Furman. Furman? They can make it to the second round against Virginia. Won a national championship year before. Creighton and Baylor, 6 versus 3. Missouri and Princeton, a 7 versus 15. You had FDU. We had FDU played Florida Atlantic. 2 number 1 seeds lost last year in the first round.
Yeah, that's
so
what
a 9 versus 16.
Number 1's not as safe now as it used to be.
Duke and Tennessee. Okay, Kansas State and Kentucky, 3 versus 6. 2 versus 7, Marquette and Michigan. So those double digits there in there, they make it in there. And in that next round, you had Princeton that made it all the way to play Creighton.
I have seen double-digit teams going to either the Sweet 16 and one. I mean, James Madison, I think, is probably the best shot. And then you've got
only one Big 12 team made it into the Sweet 16. You want to guess who that was?
I mean, who?
You won't guess.
Which team?
Kansas State. People forget how good they were last year. They were so good last year.
This year either. But
yeah,
they had some injuries on their team this year. But okay.
Yeah.
Big Knees, it has a shot. Oregon, I think, has a shot. So, I mean, you've got a few upsets that I think I'd give them more than a good chance of making some noise. But, I mean, I'm sorry, but I don't think get the team out that gives, Morehead State. I don't think they're going to. And I'm sorry. I just don't think a 14's got much of a shot in this. I think they got it right on some of these picks. So
Penn State and Kansas last year, 10 versus 2 in the second round. Pittsburgh versus Xavier, 11 versus 3. Just filled with them.
Now here's the sentimental pick. I'd love to see this if this happened. And you Aggie fans that are listening, this is a possibility. Utah State upsets Purdue. Kansas is not that tough. And even if they beat McNeese, it'd be Utah State, McNeese, or Kansas. And I think Utah State could be playing Tennessee for a final, an 8, the final 8 going into the, they're going to get crushed. I think the Aggies, if they get really lucky and Purdue overlooks them, I think, and they're thinking about Kansas, let's say, I think Utah State could get them. So
here's the thing. The only way you're going to be 100% wrong is if you just pick the top seed to win each thing. That's the only way you're going to be 100% wrong. Okay. Everything that Karl's saying could be true. Everything I'm saying could be true. That's what makes this the greatest time of
why we love
the year.
About it. It's so fun.
That's why you're sitting there with your brackets on Saturday night in the second round, and you're going, oh my God, I'm going to lose everything, but I want this McNeese State team to win. You want the little guy to win. You want the Colgate. You want all them people to be.
Oh, and let's be honest,
to win,
two more brackets done before Wednesday. So we'll see.
How many brackets are you going to do? Like 90? You're going to do your all Big 12 bracket? You're going to do your BYU National Champion one in it?
I'm going to have an upset
one bracket.
Special.
Everybody do one bracket.
I do 2.
Why?
Because it's fun. See, we can't agree on anything when it comes to March Madness, and I love it. So,
best time of the year.
Folks. Hey, in fact, if one of you, I want to know if someone has a bracket that just picks mascots or a particular color, because honestly, you might win.
Who has the best mascot?
That's a good question. Looking at these teams,
Sun Devils are right up there, but they're not even in it. But
I don't even know what some of these are. Like Grand Canyon. What's Grand Canyon's?
The Aztecs pretty cool.
San
Diego State.
I like the Clemson Tiger Paw.
Too many tigers, though. Too many tigers. Hell, there's 3 tigers just in the SEC.
Tennessee Volunteers. I mean, they have a cool.
Yeah, but you got old Smokey. You got Smokey.
Let's see. Yeah, there. Oh, one team I want to highlight, Grambling. They are the first play-in. I think this is the first year they've gone. I think it's even a bigger deal than Duquesne. They're from Grambling.
We're not in.
Yeah, I'm playing.
Are they?
Yeah. They get the right to play a 1 seed, and they play Montana State Wednesday night.
Yeah, but they've made it in since the 2000s. Everybody else, the longest tenure was 2000, and Duquesne was 1977.
The other one is Howard Wagner, 216s. And then you've got a Colorado State, Virginia, which I don't think Virginia is that great a team. Grambling, Montana State.
Still Virginia, though.
Yeah, they suck. They've choked. They choke so much. I will never pick them again. Colorado, Boise State. I think you're right. Colorado, I think, is going to win. But we'll see. So all the games are on TBS, TNT, True TV, and CBS. And tournament coverage starts Tuesday night and Wednesday night. Actually, Monday night, Wednesday. Is there games tonight?
Tomorrow.
There might be. I don't know.
Tomorrow, play-in. You got 2 play-ins tomorrow, 2 play-ins on Wednesday.
Okay. All right. That's what I thought. Yeah. All right. And then we have games Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You know where Brent and I will be.
The meat. The meat.
So,
anyway. Fantastic, man. Best time of the year, man.
We won't talk all about it next week. Just kind of highlight a few games that we liked and then give each other shit about who's got the better bracket. But the wins will speak for itself. Karl's bracket will be triumphant. I'll just say it, put it out there right now.
All right, so, Homer.
You folks have a great weekend. Don't forget, there'll be a link on the ESPN bracket. Excuse me. And make sure you get your picks in before Thursday morning. Okay. Once the first game starts, it's just like Vegas. And you don't buy that ticket before the event starts, you don't get in. So All right, guys. That was a fun night tonight, Brent.
Thanks, everybody.
I love March Madness. It's a great time.
Best time of year, man. Best time of year.
All
We'll
right,
talk
I'll
to y'all
talk to-
later.
All right.